Some strange force is working on this world. They've led me here, to this consecrated ground, to this madness.
Welcome back. Today we're doing a box opening with Steve Valdez here.
Hey guys.
We're on the part 3 right now, and we are opening packs. So let's see, we've got Avacyn's Judgment. This is a 2 casting cost sorcery. That's 1 generic, 1 red. It has Madness for X and 1 red. Avacyn's Judgment deals 2 damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or players. If Avacyn's Judgment's Madness cost was paid, it deals X damage divided as you choose among those creatures and or players instead. I like this card. I think if I was playing a burn deck, I would probably play that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not an instant speed, but
there are a lot of sorceries
like
in
the
this block.
madness
So, yeah, the Madness cost with to be able to put that X in there is really nice. I pulled an Invocation of St. Traft, white, blue, colorless, enchantment, aura. Enchanted creature has, whenever this creature attacks, put a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. Exile that token at end of combat.
That card is so good. I recommend playing it in Modern and putting it on Geist of St. Traft.
Gasp!
Put a gasp.
Gasp.
Put a gasp. Oh, sorry.
Just saying. Yes, I agree.
Put Invocation of St. Traft on a Geist of St. Traft, and then you'll have Geist of St. Traft on a Geist of St. Traft.
Yes.
So that's cool.
Absolutely. And then just, again, the benefit of having that extra creature attacking with you is really nice. Great card. I'm a fan.
I got a Port Town. I'm not going to talk about it. It's just the dual land.
Right, dual land. As far as commons go, I pulled a catalog. It's a 3 cost, draw 2 cards and discard a card. When I first saw that, I was like, what's the point? That's just, is it divination? That's pay 3, draw 2 cards? And I'm like, that doesn't seem useful at all. But then I realized, Madness and Delirium. You get to discard a card, and that actually helps you. So I could see catalog being played. Hey, I pulled Olivia.
Nice.
Mobilized for war. Yeah,
She's
that's
mobilized,
right.
all right?
Yes. So 3 cost, black, red, colorless, flying. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may discard a card. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. It gains haste until end of turn. It becomes a vampire in addition to its other types. Yeah. So
Olivia's going to be a staple for vampire decks, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
She's
yes.
she's a 3/3 for 3 with flying and another ability on top of that will give her, counters?
It gives any vampire that comes into play counters, and it can trigger madness costs.
Yeah.
So you're able to discard a card, play it for its madness cost, and then use the vampire, make it a vampire, and give it a +1/+1 counter. So definitely a useful card, something that I think is going to be great. Like you said, staple for vampire decks.
I'm actually going to be playing this card next. It's called To the Slaughter. It's an instant, 2 generic mana, 1 black. Target player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. Can you imagine making them sacrifice a planeswalker? That's the first time we've had a sacrifice that not targets, but it targets a player and they sack a planeswalker, which is fantastic. They could have 10 creatures in play and 1 planeswalker. They're going to be sacking that planeswalker. Wait, no, they could choose a creature.
Right, they could choose, but the Delirium.
They have to do both.
Yes.
So the Delirium, so if you have Delirium, they have to sack the planeswalker then. Pretty good card. I think it's an instant speed too, so you can use it at the end of their turn. Really good.
Yeah, the sacrifice thing gets over indestructible. It gets past hexproof. Really useful card. Definitely good control for black. A couple things I want to talk about here. First of all is a Vessel of Volatility. It's an enchantment, red, colorless. Sacrifice it and add 4 red to your mana pool. It's really great just mana ramp for red. So being able to third turn to put 4 mana into your mana pool is really nice. So that's a great card there for a common. But yet another mythic that we have pulled. I think this is 5 now, something like that.
Awesome.
But Sigarda Heron's Grace. Flying, you and humans you control have hexproof. 2 colorless, add a card from your graveyard, put a 1/1 white human soldier creature token onto the battlefield. So just a 4/5 flyer for 5 is great, especially when you're giving yourself hexproof as well as all the humans you control hexproof. But then being able to put more human tokens on the battlefield, we were talking about token production before.
Oh yeah, she's
Great
definitely good
card.
for token production. I think that Sigarda, if you find a way to protect her, really good. I think you could play her in standard. I think there's a lot of people that probably won't just because she's a 5 casting cost, but she's still a 4/5 flyer, and she has 3 abilities on top of that for 5. So I think she's going to see some play.
I think the
am
green
considering putting her in my angel deck.
I think the green-white really assumes that you're going to have maybe a little bit of life gain, maybe a little bit of hexproof, maybe a little bit of mana ramp. I think the 5 cost isn't as scary in a green-white. Really solid chance you're going to get to that 5th turn. And then being able to have her on the board, changing the board, really, giving everything hexproof, and then being able to put more tokens on the battlefield. If you have a green-white deck, a human deck especially, she is a really important card for you. I think she's going to see a lot of play. What'd you get, Ron?
I got Cryptolith Right. This is actually going to be some really good play, I think, on this card. It's It's an enchantment that gives all your creatures add one they tap to add a mana of any color to your mana pool, which means that all of your creatures are now going to produce mana for you. I think for Eldrazi decks, oh my gosh, can you imagine? They're big fatty Eldrazi creatures are all going to come into play really fast.
Your Eldrazi spawn...
You don't have to sacrifice them.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
can just tap them.
Or
to
you can
add
tap
mana.
and then sacrifice it, and you
And
get
double
2 mana per. Yeah,
it's going to see some hardcore play.
I agree wholeheartedly.
It's going to get ridiculous. We're going to see some really big creatures, and mana costs are almost trivial now. Like with that in play,
Right. Like I was saying before, with green, mana is not as big of a deal.
Yeah.
So I pulled another Fevered Visions. It's actually our very first double.
Oh yeah.
So
it is.
We've been doing
I
pretty well.
still
up
want
to this
Avacyn. I haven't seen him one yet.
point. No, not yet.
We'll see. All right. So what was your rare?
I pulled a Rattle Chains. 2 cost, blue, flash flying. Before I even get to anything else, a 2 cost, 2/1 flyer with flash is A+.
Yep.
That's so good. I really love that. When Rattle Chains enters the battlefield, target spirit gains hexproof until end of turn. You may cast spirit spells as though they had flash. So all of a sudden, all of your spirit spells have flash. It gives something hexproof when it comes to the battlefield. This is a fantastic card.
It really is.
It really, really
Oh my
is.
gosh.
I mean, the blue aggro thing has been something that's been kind of been building little by little since the Theros block. We've got some blue aggro going in there, and it's just continuing here.
Yeah.
Great card. I love Rattle Chains.
Yeah, if you're building a spirit deck, you are going to play that card. And the reason is because it gives your spirit spells flash. Like, that's so good.
It really is
Why
fantastic.
not give all your spirits flash? There's no reason not to. I pulled a Tireless Tracker. It's a 3/2 for 2 generic and 1 green. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, investigate. Investigate, as you know, is when you put in a clue. Whenever a clue token, that is. Whenever you sacrifice a clue, put a +1/+1 counter on Tireless Tracker. So when you pay 2 to sacrifice a clue and you draw a card, you automatically get a counter on Tireless Tracker. It's, I think, very good. I think in green, it's going to be seeing some play. I'm actually considering putting it in my mono green Mana Gorger deck, because those creatures all get +1/+1 counters, all the creatures in that deck, and this would fit with that so perfectly. So, what was your next rare?
I just want to say on that, many clues. I love clues.
Yeah.
I love clues because to me, it kind of is like in Hearthstone, the coin, where you do have this little extra ability to get some extra mana. Clues is like this constant coin where maybe you never use them. Sure, cool, whatever. But on a turn that maybe you don't have
Any cards in your hand?
or you don't have anything to play or whatever else, being able to have that mana dump to draw some cards, I just the clue token itself, I think, is going to make Magic a much more accessible game for new people. It's not going to ever make you feel like you have nothing to do. I love clues. I think
the beauty of the clues is that you can do it at instant speed. So you can do that at the end of your opponent's turn when you know there's literally nothing else you're going to cast before you untap all your mana.
Yeah.
So it's just a no-brainer at that point.
Speaking of pulling 2 rares, I yet again pulled 2 rares. The one rare is From Under the Floorboards. It's a 5-cost sorcery, 2 black, 3 colorless. Put 3 2/2 black zombie creature tokens onto the battlefield tapped, and you gain 3
Really
life.
good.
Yes, it has a madness of 2 black and X. If From Under the Floorboards madness cost was paid, instead put X of those tokens on the battlefield and gain X life. Man, for the 5 cost, 3 2/2s and gaining 3 life is nice. Again, it's just that jump to be able to get those creatures out there to block, do what you need to do. It is sorcery speed, but even still, that's a nice thing to be able to handle. But having the option of that X in there is great. Even if you can just pay 1 more or whatever it is to be able to get that madness cost, or even less, gaining life, doing all that stuff.
Yep.
Great card. I like From Under the Floorboards.
Yeah, it's better than Empty the Pits or anything that we've seen in a while as far
Right.
as zombie tokens go. I think that
Well,
is
dead.
definitely the way to go. If you're building a zombie deck, you should play one of those at least. And then I got, or unless you want to...
I pulled another rare. I got the Westvale Abbey. So another the Wasteland. So add the Wasteland, the colorless, to your mana pool. 5 generic, tap, pay 1 life, put a 1/1 white and black human cleric creature token on the battlefield. Or 5 tap, sacrifice 5 creatures, transform
My gosh.
Westvale Abbey, then untap it. So
This card is so good.
I love right, and so you get the creatures on the battlefield for whatever reason, whether it's these tokens, whatever else. You sack 5, you flip it. It becomes a 9/7 flying lifelink indestructible haste creature. That's Ormondal Profane Prince. It is insane.
The only thing it's missing is hexproof.
I know, right? So yeah, flying lifelink, indestructible, haste, absolutely crazy.
Gosh.
Again, especially with token production, it's not going to be hard to get this
Yeah.
to trigger. It could be a little bit late game, but if you're in that late game, this is your game ender.
Yeah,
right here.
expect to see that card being played in a lot of decks because it can produce mana. So it can almost be placed in just about any deck.
Right.
And so if I were you, I'd be playing something that can exile creatures because that's pretty much the only thing you're going to be able to do against that is target exile or make them sacrifice it. But that's less likely because they could sacrifice something else. Yeah, definitely try to exile that thing if you can.
Or the Burn from Within can take away its indestructibility. So.
Oh, there's that too. Yeah,
Yeah.
good call. Inexorable Blob is the last card that I got, and it's a 3/3 ooze for 3, so that's 2 generic and 1 green. Has Delirium. Whenever an inexorable blob attacks, if there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, put a 3/3 green ooze creature token onto the battlefield tapped and attacking.
John, final thoughts on the Shadows of Innistrad mechanics, the set itself. What do you think, man?
I love Shadows of Innistrad. I think it's a really fun set. I actually ended up liking it more than Battle for Zendikar or Oath of the Gatewatch. The Eldrazi are great and everything, but getting back to vampires and zombies and werewolves, it's like, to me, it's the heart of Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, I agree.
And they are kind of getting back to their roots in a way.
Exactly that.
And
yeah.
and so I really like that part of it. As far as all the cards in the set, there's some really, really big monster cards that are going to be really powerful and see a lot of play.
We did not pull a thing in the ice.
We didn't pull a
Here.
thing in ice, and we didn't pull an Avacyn,
Yeah.
sadly. But, we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, we did have a
Yeah.
lot of fun. I gotta say, the whole set reminds me of Bloodborne, which is one of my favorite games right now. So that's very cool. As well as just like you said, John, it reminds me of old school Magic. Like
Yeah.
back in the revised and 4th and 5th editions, like this is kind of what Magic looked like across the board. So it's very cool to see this kind of stuff in it, as well as it's the whole theme is just a lot of fun. So really enjoying it. Love it a lot. Yeah, looks
I
good.
found a Scarecrow for you. I know you have a Scarecrow
Okay, yeah,
deck.
I do. I have a Scarecrow deck.
You were super excited about this,
I
because-
really was
yeah.
because because you 2 sacrifice it, search the library for 2 land cards, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle your library. So just getting the mana stuff in there. So yeah, I'm really excited about that for my my Reaper King deck.
All right, well, one last thing. I just wanted to say that here at Legends, we're in Sandy, Oregon, and we're right next to Ace Hardware and right behind the gun shop, Rapid Fire. But you can come visit us anytime. Right now, we're going to be selling Shadows of Innistrad Fat Packs, and we're also we have the Deck Builders Toolkits. We'll have booster boxes for sale and booster packs. Our prices are really awesome, $3.50 a pack, better than Fred Meyer, better than most of the other shops in town, so come visit us. Our Fat Packs are only $35, so we've got great deals. I think that's it. So thank you for watching, and we hope to see you on the flip side.
See you guys around.
Peace.